stranger from the Bacchae. How I grieve for this house. In earlier days, so happy, throughout Greece, home of that old man, Cadmus, from Sidon, who sowed the fields and harvested the earth-born crop from serpent Ophis. How I now lament. I know I'm just a slave, but nonetheless. Pentheus, child of Bacchae, is dead. What are you saying? Why that song? Women, how can you now rejoice like this for the death of one who was my master? Do you think Thebes lacks sufficient men to take care of your punishment? That you may be forgiven, but to cry aloud with joy when such disasters come, women, that's not something you should do. Once we'd left the settlement of Thebes, we went across the river Asopus, then started the climb up Mount Citharon, Pentheus and myself, I following the king. The stranger was our guide. He scouted the way. First, we sat in a grassy meadow, keeping our feet and tongues quite silent so we could see without being noticed. There was a valley, shut in by cliffs, through which refreshing waters flowed, with pines providing shade. The Maenads sat there, hands busy with delightful work, some with ivy strands repairing damaged thorsoil, while others sang, chanting Bacchic songs to one another, carefree as fillies free from harness. Then Pentheus, that unhappy man, not seeing the crowd of women, spoke up. Stranger, I can't see from where we're standing. My eyes can't glimpse those crafty Maenads. But up there, on that hill, a pine tree stands. If I climbed that, I might be able to see those women and witness the disgraceful things they do. Then I saw that stranger work a marvel. He seized that pine tree's topmost branch. It stretched up to heaven and brought it down, bending it to the dark earth, bending it as if it were a bow or some curved wheel, pulling it to the earth while staked out with pegs. That's how the stranger made that pine tree bend down, forcing that mountain pine to earth by hand, something no mortal man could ever do. He set Pentheus in that pine tree's topmost branch, then his hands released it, but slowly, careful not to shake Pentheus loose. That pine held straight up to heaven, with my king perched on its back. The Maenads could see him there, more easily than he could spy on them. As he was just becoming visible, the stranger had completely disappeared. Some voice, I guess it was Dionysus, cried out from the sky, "Young women! I brought you the man who laughed at you, who ridiculed my rights. Now punish him." As he shouted this, a dreadful fire arose blazing between earth and heaven. The air was still. In the wooded valley, no sound came from the leaves, and all the beasts were silent too. The women stood up at once. They'd heard the voice, but not distinctly. They gazed around them. Then again, the voice shouted his commands. And Cadmus' daughters clearly heard what Dionysus ordered. they rushed out, running fast as doves, moving their feet at an amazing speed. His mother, Agave, and all the Bacchae charged straight towards the valley, the torrents, the mountain cliffs, possessed in a Bacchic frenzy. They saw the king sitting there in that pine. First, they scaled a cliff looming opposite the tree and started throwing rocks, trying to hurt him. Others threw ivy strands or hurled their damaged thyrsoid. Sad, miserable Pentheus, their target. But they didn't hit him. The poor man sat high beyond the frenzied cruelty, trapped with there no way to save his skin. Then, like lightning, he struck both branches down, trying them as levers to uproot the tree. When all these attempts failed, Agave said, "Come now, make a circle round the tree. Then, Maenads, each of you must seize a branch to catch that climbing beast up there. Stop him making our gods' secret dances known." Thousands of hands grabbed the tree and pulled. They yanked it from the ground. Pentheus fell, crashing to the earth, screaming in distress. He knew very well something dreadful was about to happen. His priestess mother first began the slaughter. She hurled herself at him. Pentheus threw off his headband, untying it from his head, so wretched Agave would recognize him, so she wouldn't kill him. Touching her cheek, he cried out, "It's me, mother! Pentheus, your child! You gave birth to me at home in Echiat's house. Pity me, mother! Don't kill your child because I made mistakes!" But Agave was foaming at the mouth, eyes rolling in their sockets, her mind not set on what she ought to think. She didn't listen. She was possessed in a Bacchic frenzy. She seized his left arm below the elbow, pushed her foot against the poor man's ribs, then tore his shoulder out. Ah! The strength she had, it was not her own, that God put power into those hands of hers. Meanwhile, Eno, his sister, went at the other side and started ripping off chunks of Pentheus's flesh, while Atone and all the Bacchae attacked as well, all of them howling out together. As long as Pentheus was alive, he kept on screaming. The women cried out in triumph. One brandished an arm, another held a foot, complete with hunting boot. The woman's nails tore his ribs apart. Their hands grew bloody, tossing bits of flesh back and forth for fun. His body parts lay scattered everywhere. Some under rough rocks, others in the forest, deep in the trees. They're difficult to find. As for the poor victim's head, his mother stumbled upon it. Her hands picked it up and stuck it on her thyrsus at the tip. Now she carries it around Cithron as if it were some wild lion's head. She's left her sisters dancing with the Maenads. Coming here, inside these very walls, calling out to her fellow hunter Bacchus, her companion in the chase, the winner, the glorious victor. By serving him in her triumph, she wins only tears. As for me, I'm leaving this disaster before Agave gets back home again. The best thing is to keep one's mind controlled and worship all that comes down from the gods. That, in my view, is the wisest custom for those who can conduct their lives that